I'm back here at the Brock Trail in Brockville, Ontario. The last time I did a video on this trail, it was the middle of February. We were having really unseasonably warm weather. I think it was like 16 degrees or something crazy like that. And I went to go ride and show off the trail. Now, there's a big difference on this rail trail between the summer and the winter time. So I thought I'd come back out here today in the middle of summer and just go through the same route that I did last time. Except I might add one little extra thing at the very end. The Brockville Railway Tunnel is open for the season now, so I might just go and end the ride after a walk through the railway tunnel. Now, it's been a fun summer for me, going and experiencing lots of rail trails that I've never gone and ridden before. But it's always nice to be able to come back and ride something familiar like this. This part here isn't actually the rail trail. That begins after I cross past the 401. This is just the pathway that the city created to stretch the multi-use pathway all the way to the north end. So it goes all the way from the St. Lawrence River up to the Mac Johnson Wildlife Area, which is a conservation area at the north end of the city of Brockville. So I'm going to jump off the Brock Trail for a little bit, just to sort of bypass the lights and the traffic that's down there. And this is going to be one of two bypasses that I'm going to do today. The other one is around the area where I mentioned in the last video that I wasn't too sure about the way to go to sort of reconnect up with it on Stewart Boulevard. So I'm still not 100% sure. So I'm just gonna take a side street and rejoin the trail down there. As much as I love riding trails, there's something to be said for a good old-fashioned shortcut. This is the newest addition to the Brock Trail. Yeah, this is really nice here. And I'm gonna go down to the waterfall, see what it looks like here today. I can hear the water. There's definitely a lot more water running through here in the summertime than there was in the winter. Although with all the leaves on the trees, it's kind of hard to see the waterfall. All right, let's keep going. I'm always excited to get to the rail trail part of this, which is coming up pretty soon. So these new bridges were put in just a few years ago. And to my right, that's where the trail used to go. Used to have to go down that way there. Right. There's still some remnants of the past along this trail too. There's another bit coming up just ahead. You'll see that there's a small little section of thin asphalt down there. That's where the trail used to run, right by the trail, right beside the creek. But it's been moved over here and widened, so it's a lot nicer for people to take the path down this way. I think it makes it a little bit more interesting too that I'm not taking the exact same route that I did the last time. You can see here's the marker to rejoin the Brock Trail. I do miss the one bridge crossing by coming this way, but that's okay. Me and that bridge don't have a good history. I was cruising down here on a bike a couple of years ago in the fall. It had just rained. I crossed the bridge, realized I was going too fast, hit the brakes. Well, brakes worked really well, but unfortunately with all the wet leaves on the ground, I wasn't stopping. I had to lay the bike down and go for a ride. All right. cross over. And right after this bridge, this is where the rail trail begins. So it used to run through that parking lot and by the trees, and then it rejoined the railway line down there. So this is the part of the ride that I think is just the coolest. Looks so different in the summertime compared to the winter. With all the tree canopy and everything onto the sides. And I remember after I did the winter ride and watched the video, I was thinking, man, the section looks so bare. And it's true, it really did. This is the railway tunnel coming up ahead that goes under the main CN line that crosses across Ontario. So usually in the winter time there's about a foot of ice and snow here. I was completely shocked in February when I was able to just ride through here like this. I've never seen it snow-free. So now we're coming into downtown Brockville. Still traveling right beside the creek, and this is kind of cool. One of the old railway bridges that's still left from the history of this being a railway line is right ahead of me. Just to think that the trains used to cross right here. Just imagine living in these houses and having the trains rumbling so close to their backyards, sitting on their patio and literally being able to reach your hand out and almost touch the train. That would have been pretty cool. This section I like. I think it's pretty scenic. And we're coming up to where the old B&W railway station used to be. So it's just on the other side of the creek. The station is long gone, however, there is a tennis court there now. And you can sort of just barely see the tennis court through the trees. But that's where the old station was. This right here, wow, that's bumpy. This was also part of the railway line. Would have continued pretty much straight through here. Now the trail does veer off the old railway line just a little bit as we get to where the ball courts are. So where the tennis court is straight ahead is actually where the railway line would have ran straight. Trail takes a slight detour to the north here. But yeah, where that guy is standing is exactly where the old railway line was. Would have continued on straight just on the other side of these trees and would have passed through here right beside the creek. This bridge wouldn't have been quite the way it was, and trains would have rolled right along here. The trains would have continued straight. You can see the trail does take a slight bend here. Trains would have gone straight through where that hedge is now and continued on towards Hardy Park. So I'd love to take that part of the trail right there, but that is a no-go zone for cyclists. But what I can do is I can sort of rejoin it right down here on Henry Street. So right next to here, the trains would have rolled straight through right beside the museum. Would have come through right around here. And here is where the trains used to roll straight through. So this is Hardy Park. I can see the circle right there with all the flowers. That used to be a pool back when my parents were kids. And I believe that the railway line actually ran right through the middle of that. Blockhouse Island is just there to my right. I did a loop around that in the winter time. And this was originally for trains. That's kind of why it is the shape it is, because trains would have rolled down here. They would have offloaded their freight to ships, picked up stuff from ships. This was a busy port back in the day. Beautiful day down by the water. So if you've ever wondered why the shape of Blockhouse Island is the way it is, it's because of Brockville's railway heritage. In fact, right ahead of me, you can see McNair Island there in the St. Lawrence River, and you see 3 pylons on the north end of McNair Island. Those 3 pylons were for a planned railway bridge from the United States to Canada. The railway bridge didn't make it, but pylons remained. And coming up to the Brockville Tunnel, there we go. And I'm going to continue walking through here. Hopefully I get a better light show this time than I did the last time I came through here. So for anybody not in the know, this is Canada's first railway tunnel. It was closed to the public for a long time. However, it opened up a couple of years ago before COVID. And since then, it's been really, really popular with tourists. There's usually a light show with music that happens throughout the tunnel. Now I know that over the last year or two, they've had some difficulties with the lights and some of the speakers. So I'm not quite sure what we'll see here today, but it's still worth going through it for a walk. This is it. This is the Pearl Street exit. We're at the north end of the tunnel. And you can see that the pathway goes up the hill where it rejoins a parking lot. The old railway line would have actually gone straight and not uphill. And it's all submerged underwater right now, but straight ahead. And you can even see that there's another railway tunnel just a bit further north, and that goes underneath the old CN railway line. That's where the old railway tunnel used to go. Like I said, it's a lot of fun doing the digging on the history of things, and I kind of enjoyed rail trails, so over the last couple of years I've done a lot of digging as to where exactly the old B&W line went and the old CP railway line, where it went. This is an old co-op building to my right, which is very typical around railway lines. It's seen better days, but I'm happy it's still here. So this is the Brock Trail again. Got our war memorial. I really do like this stretch. like the big trees here, how the road curves around a little bit, and even going underneath the 401. It would just be nice if there were two options on either side of the road, so if you didn't want to cross over and then have to recross, then you could definitely do that. And this right here is Highway 401 that I'm crossing under. And I may be able to make that light, but I don't think so. So if I end up getting stuck at the light, and I will, then that is going to be the end of this video. So thanks for joining me on this ride on the Brock Trail. Always great to just come out on a beautiful summer day to get a little bit of exercise and experience a little bit of local history.